I'm Ryan with Preschool Therapy. Today we're talking positive parenting, what it is, what it isn't, and some tips to get you started. If you like this video and content like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way I can give you more tips on child mental health and all things on how to parent in 2020. Positive parenting, conscious parenting, gentle parenting. There's a lot of names that describe it, but really it's one general idea of parenting. It's a new age style of parenting that doesn't use the old school strategies of kids are meant to be seen and not heard, and using more authoritarian kind of principles, or trying to basically hold kids down with your thumb using very extreme forms of harsh punishment, such as spanking and yelling and screaming. It's meant to be a way that helps kids develop better mental health skills and development. It's meant to be a way to help parents connect with their kids, have better relationships, and help kids become healthier, better, more productive adults. The main thing that makes positive parenting different from other styles of parenting is its focus on teaching and connection. We're not just going to try and punish behaviors out of kids, because we understand that kids are going to make mistakes. They're learning. They're young. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And our job as parents is to try and teach them so they can better manage these situations in the future. While older school strategies focus on punishment, which is the idea that if somebody does something, we need to make them pay for it, which is meant to help make me, the punisher, feel better and try and get them from never doing it again out of fear of that punishment happening again. The problem is research is finding that that isn't a very effective way of helping kids change behavior. We focus on teaching and finding the core needs that kids are trying to meet in their behavior. It's a focus that all behavior is a form of communication. It might mean that they need to learn a certain skill to keep these situations from happening again. It might mean that they just don't know how to express what they really need in a situation, and the only way they know how to do that is by the behaviors that you're seeing. So, as a positive parent, we try and find those core areas, whether it be a skill or a need, and meet it. Positive parents understand that children are people. They're human. As adults, can you say that in the last, year, you've not made any mistakes, especially when you're learning something new? And we understand that kids are learning their emotions, especially in those preschool years when they're just basically an emotional tornado, because the entire period is learning how to better interact with peers and how to manage our feelings. And we understand that in this process, kids are going to make mistakes. They're going to learn, and it is our job to help them better manage what they're going through. We are not there to control kids. It is our job to support them and help them be better members of society. At the core of being a positive parent is the idea that relationship is everything. It's much more focused on attunement, helping children feel felt, like their parents truly understand what they're going through and are there to support and guide them. All people are much more influenced when they feel like somebody truly cares. But conscious parenting isn't just about the children and our way of interacting with them. It's much more focused on me as a parent. The goal is to constantly be trying to improve myself as a parent. It's not about perfection. We know that we can't be perfect because, again, we're human and we're learning. But we are going to constantly evaluate how we're doing and look at if we want to handle situations differently in the future. Now, let's talk some of the misconceptions about positive parenting. One of the biggest ones is that there is no punishment, that kids are just going to be walking all over you. And that's far from the truth. It's a different way of going about setting boundaries and guidelines and discipline, but it doesn't mean that kids get to do whatever they want. We just use strategies like natural consequences and talking and teaching and educating rather than using harsh methods like yelling and screaming. Some might think it's all about just rewards. We're just going to praise them for everything. And really, that's not the truth either. They think that maybe there's going to be a reward chart and we have to give them presents every time they do something right. when in fact we know that reward charts aren't always that effective. In fact, they're much more focused on extrinsic or outside rewards when we really want kids having an intrinsic reason for doing the behaviors that they do. So we do use encouragement, which is the idea that we're focusing on traits that kids can actually build, not inherent traits like smart and pretty and stuff like that, but we're focusing on effort and their perseverance and their willingness to ask for help. When we encourage those behaviors that they can actually change, we're encouraging their confidence and we're helping them learn how to solve problems. We also try and focus on encouraging kids to have a reason, an internal reason for why they do the behaviors they do. We don't want them to be nice just so they can earn a toy or a candy, which we shouldn't be using candy as a reward anyway, but we don't want them to do it for that. We want them to do it because it feels good and because it's nice and it's the way of being a good friend. And that is one of the things we focus on in positive parenting. In my comments all the time, I hear, you're just trying to have parents be friends with their kids. And really, no, that's not the case. With our friends, we will try and talk and vent about our days, and we're not in control of them. We're not going to give them boundaries on what they can and cannot do, though we will set boundaries with ourselves in the relationship. But we're not going to tell them, no, you can't go there, because we're not in control of them. With kids, we understand that we do have to be a influencer in their life. We have to set boundaries because their brains are not there to set boundaries for them yet. They just don't have that capability. And because of that, we have to set them for them. We have to tell them, no, you're not going to eat your entire bag of candy today. Or no, you can't have 20 marshmallows before dinner. We have to set those boundaries. But again, it's about how we set those boundaries. We are not their friends. We are still their parent, and we're still going to set rules and guidelines for them. We're just not going to be oppressive about it. Positive parenting uses more of an authoritative style of parenting, not to be confused with authoritarian, which is like a dictatorship. Authoritative is more of a democratic style, understanding that parents are going to have the final say in what happens, but they're going to allow kids to be able to talk about what's going on and be able to have some influence in some of the rules. For example, with a teenager, we may say, sure, we think the bedtime should be 10 o'clock, and let them talk about it and give reasons that they think it should be later. And then we're going to be able to listen to them, let them feel like they're being heard, and ultimately we'll have to make the final say, but we're going to have it much more of a diplomatic way of going about that. All right, so if you want to be a positive parent, here are some tips that you can start right away. 1, start really evaluating your parenting style. Look at how you're handling different situations and decide if you want to handle them the same way in the future. Because when we start bringing the subconscious to our conscious, we can start to make adaptations and changes and become a better way of being a parent. We are not bound to our current style, but if we just choose to react and allow our brain to go on autopilot, then we're not going to be able to consciously change how we're choosing to manage situations. Get some literature and follow people on TikTok and on YouTube that encourage positive parenting. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. In the comments below, please write down different subjects that you would like to see me cover in the future. Take care.